Welcome to my channel. I'm Gary Guryawan and this is Everyday Photography Vlog. I'm here in this beautiful area. This is Parangtritis Beach here in Yogyakarta, Indonesia. This is a relaxing Saturday. I'm here with my wife. We're just gonna enjoy the nature, a little bit of relaxing time away from the crowds, and while we're doing that, we're also gonna take a little bit of pictures right here as a practice for our photography skill. But anyway, yeah, I'm keeping things very simple. Today I just brought my micro four thirds camera, the Panasonic Lumix GX850, with just one single lens for the GX850, and that is the Panasonic Lumix 14 to 140mm f3.5 to f5.6. Today I don't want to think too much about gear, just one lens that can do it all. Very easy. It feels almost like cheating because usually I have to change lenses, but today I want to keep it very relaxing and very easy. I don't want the gear to get in the way. And yeah, it's a super zoom lens. I can try to take anything from wide angle to telephoto with just one single lens. And I also brought with me another camera, which is the Leica M8.2, a very nice rangefinder camera. I'm gonna use that to take a little bit of environmental portraits of my wife in this area. Anyway, let's try to take some pictures. For our first photo of the day, I wanna try to take pictures of the ocean line right there. I think it looks kind of cool, especially from this top of the hill vantage point kind of view. It makes for a dramatic kind of vista in my opinion. And also we have this tree right here. I think it makes for a nice foreground. We're gonna try to employ it. Hopefully the picture will turn out to be a nice picture. Anyway, the gear right now, again, the GX850 and the Panasonic Lumix 14 to 140mm f3.5 to f5.6 super zoom lens. It is actually a little bit rainy, so yeah, I don't want to spend too long here because I will be drenched on the rain and I don't want that. And the camera and lens is not weather sealed, but it doesn't deter me from taking these pictures. Alright, now let's try to take the picture. I'm thinking of a wide angle composition. Let's see what happens at 14mm. We have a little bit of this rock right here, and then the vista. Currently we have spots of sunlight hitting the ground, especially on this green area right there near the white building. I think it makes for a nice kind of look. Alright, 14mm f5.6 aperture priority, auto ISO. Let me make sure that the ISO is auto. Yes, it is auto. So yeah, this is the composition that I have in mind. Let's take the picture. I think it looks kind of cool. Let me raise the camera just a little bit. I think I want it to be a little bit wider. I want to step back from here just a little bit. Alright, something like that, so I can have more of the tree and the rocky thingy on the bottom left corner right there. We don't really have too much point of interest in this image, so yeah, something like this for now. I'm focusing on the somewhere near the ocean, near the beach. Looks kind of cool. Right, now I want to try to take some zoomed in pictures with the 14 to 140. The strength of this lens is the fact that I don't have to carry multiple lenses. I can just use one lens for everything, wide angle and telephoto. It is so convenient, especially for travel and just for everyday photography like this. It feels a little bit kind of like cheating, so yeah, but I enjoy the process. Today I want to take it easy. Alright, something like this. Want to focus more on that white building. I think it looks kind of cool. Right, yeah, let's try to take some other compositions. Over there I saw a river. I want to try to focus on that. Let's zoom in all the way to 140, and yeah, right away I can see that the area is kind of misty, cloudy, hazy. Yeah, something like this. Want to make sure we include part of the beach as well. Rule of third, simple composition, nothing too fancy. We're losing the there we go, the horizon level thingy. Alright, now let's take a break from the beach for just a moment. I want to try to focus on this area on the right here. So hills and lots of greenery, trees, things like that. I want to try to make the best of this kind of scenery and try to just focus on certain area. Let's see, usually for things like this I like to zoom in just a little bit to about 25 or maybe 35 depending on the mood and the composition as well, to focus more, because with wide angle there's no really point of reference and it'll just look weird. I want to try to employ a little bit of that thing on the right there, the stairs and the glass fence, or maybe not, let's just leave it alone. Something like this. This is about 25mm f5.6. Composition is just vertical, very basic one like this. I was just trying to focus on this interesting looking kind of hill right there, where there are parts without the greens, the plants on the cliffs right there. I think it looks kind of cool. I want to zoom in a little bit more. Let's try 50. I want to try to layer it with the hills behind and also the clouds. Every time we have layers, it'll make the photograph more interesting. And anything that we can do to accentuate those layers, I think will always be appreciated. Something like this, f5.6. Let's zoom in just a little bit closer. This is about, I don't know, 60 maybe millimeter. Alright, something like this. Yeah, I just use my feelings. Still f5.6 aperture priority. I get a pretty good ISO and shutter speed, so I don't need to change the settings too dramatically. I want to try to take a wider angle kind of scene, horizontal composition, something like this. Nice, yeah. Let's take a few more shots. Alright, looks kinda nice. What about that area over there? We can try to zoom in on one of the buildings. Let's see what's happening right there. Not too interesting. What about this building right here? Well, it looks kinda nice for just a point of reference to anchor the image. But it looks kind of flat, but I'm just going to take the picture anyway. Alright, now still with the GX850 and the 14-140, I want to focus on the ocean lines, the beach right there. Let's see, I want to zoom in all the way to 140 and just have a little bit of an abstract picture featuring the waves, the lines. We're gonna focus on that kind of moody abstract textures. We have sunlights helping to accentuate more of the texture and details. Something like this, 140mm. Okay, that's what I have in mind. Maybe I can turn it into black and white, or maybe just leave it as it is. We'll see, we'll see. Over there we have a nice looking waves, very thick. This beach, Parangtritis, is very famous where I live in Yogyakarta. So if you visit this area, make sure you also visit the beach. They have seafood right there, plenty of fresh fish and other seafood goodness if you're into that sort of thing. But other than that, also nice scenery. You can climb up the hill right here with a car and just find some nice spots like where I am right now on the Obelix Sea View. This is a nice place, very comfortable. There are lots of restaurants nearby as well on the facility. So yeah, if you're visiting Yogyakarta, then this is a must in my opinion. Anyway, the compositions is very simple. I'm just trying to find the waves with the most interesting looking lines when it's crashing onto the ground, things like that. We don't really have that much point of interest on the image, but yeah, we'll just try. Looks kind of cool. What about vertical? I think we can accentuate. Now it's kind of difficult with vertical because we don't have that much layering anyway. Usually I do vertical for layering and horizontal when there's not too much layer. Alright, I think I found another nice spot to again photograph the cliff area right here and the hills right there. I want to try to emphasize the layers between this cliff and that particular interesting looking hill and the hill on the behind as the background. Oh, there's like a giant hornet trying to sting me. But anyway, I'm just going to try to take some nice quick pictures right here. Yes, that's what I meant. I want to emphasize this gray looking kind of rock area right there and try to combine it with that interesting looking hill right there. I think it's gonna make for a nice kind of little landscape, abstract kind of textury photo. Can we combine a little bit of this cliff area right here? Maybe not. Maybe we can. I can zoom out a little bit to about 20mm and we have everything. Yep, like so. Alright, f5.6 aperture priority, vertical composition, something like this. Hopefully it'll make for a nice picture. Nice, yeah. Simple rule of thirds, nothing too fancy in terms of composition. I like the way it makes for a layered kind of look. Very beautiful. Yeah, I like how it turns out. Yep, nice. Let's try to just focus a little bit more. I want to try to zoom in so we have more of the gray area on the right. I want to try to contrast that with the interesting looking hill that we photographed earlier. This is about 35mm, give or take. I'm focusing on the interesting looking hill and using the gray area, sort of a foreground. This is just a play of layers, nothing too, complicated. Right, we have a nice flowers right here, but I'm not going to photograph it because it's just an average looking flower. No offense, but I'm going to try to use this guy as sort of a foreground to photograph the beach. So this is like a frame within the frame, which I really like to do on my photographs, just including a little part of it as a foreground. So something like this. I don't know if you can see the camera or not, but basically I'm just using very little part of this, like about a third on the bottom of the frame, to make for a nice frame within the frame kind of look, and just adjust the position until I find the one that I'm happy with. Something like this. I think it helps to kind of make a certain mood in the photo. Something like that. We have the fence right there. I think that's kind of bothering me. I want to try to adjust the angle of the camera carefully. Maybe zoom in just a little bit. Let's try 25mm. Oh yeah, it kind of works. How about vertical? I think it'll be better. Yep, maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. I might crop the picture on the post-processing. I don't know, but let's try. We don't know if we're not trying. The whole point of this video is just experimentation and having fun taking pictures. Yeah, it's a fun day actually. Saturday, not a whole lot of people. Just enjoy the scenery and the vibe. It's very relaxing. Alright, so now for the next photograph, I'm going to use my Leica M8.2 and I'm going to try to take some environmental portrait of my wife with this beautiful background. Everyone say hello to Nora. Alright, so yeah, the setting with the Leica, it's pretty simple. I'm using the TTArtisan 35mm at f2 aperture, auto shutter, and then ISO about 160. You cannot really see me using this camera because I have to go into the viewfinder. This camera doesn't have LCD, but yeah, basically it looks like this. If you want to take a look on the viewfinder, you have to adjust the focus until it matches the frame, things like that. Anyway, let's try to take some pictures with the Leica. It's more elaborate and you have to be slower because you have to focus manually. There's no autofocus, but I think it is beautiful. 1, 2, 3. Hang on, it doesn't work. Let's try that again. All right, 1, 2, 3. Nice. All right, it works now. Let's try to go closer. I want to try to do horizontal this time. I have to focus slowly on the eyes. All right, it matches perfectly. Let's take the picture. 1, 2, 3. Nice. All right, I'm not checking the result. I just want to take the pictures straight away. Don't really care about the end result. I just want to make sure that I got this moment. 1, 2, 3. Nice, beautiful. All right, let's try to move over there and we're gonna try to take some different angles. All right, this is perfect. You can stand right there. Nice, it's very beautiful. It's very beautiful. Right, with the hills, the interesting looking hills behind. I think it'll look cool. All right, nice, beautiful. I'm focusing. 1, 2, 3. Beautiful. Beautiful. Let's try to do horizontal this time. I'm gonna go closer. All right, beautiful. Everything lined up perfectly. And that wraps up today's video. So hopefully this has been interesting, entertaining, and motivating as well, inspiring for you. Makes you want to go out and take some pictures. Actually, it's already raining right now, so we have to wrap it up. We have to go back before we got drenched wet with all the rains. Anyway, I hope you liked today's video. Please let me know on the comment down below which one is your favorite picture. Also, don't forget to support my channel by liking this video, sharing this video, subscribing to my channel down below. And if you want to support my work even further, consider using the affiliate links on the description below. Use the super thanks button to make a small donation to my channel, or purchase my travel photography course ebook called Simplifying Travel Photography. Thank you, and I will see you on the next video. Goodbye.